Hey, what's going on, guys? Chad here with Greenlight Life, and today we're in sunny Riviera Maya near Cancun, Mexico. So we're staying at the Hotel Catalonia, and it's been a blast, man. We're on our honeymoon. We got married August 8th, 2015. So today is like a week after that, and I just wanted to give you guys kind of an overview of the location that we're in, the resort, and kind of just a quick review. So in case you guys are thinking about taking a vacation out near Cancun, you can have an idea of what to expect, especially out here. So we flew into Cancun, and then it's about an hour drive or so out here. So this is Riviera Maya. I think that's like the town, I'm not sure. But then you come into this little like big resort community area, and that was called Puerto Aventuras. And then you drive a little bit in there, and then Hotel Catalonia is the place we're staying at within Puerto Aventuras. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we're at. I just want to just tell you a little bit about this resort. So essentially, it's all inclusive, which is great. So you get a couple different buffets. At night, you get like a special certificate for some dinners. See some really nice dinners. There's tons of pools. There's bars by the pools. There's tons of bars in general. You're right on the beach, so there's tons of water. It's like great out here. It's really nice. I will admit it's crazy humid. So you can tell I'm holding this and we're not shooting with it because the humidity just fogs up this glass so bad. So hopefully I'll be able to get a couple shots for you on this. But right now Trisha's helping me out shooting on just a little Nikon Coolpix point and shoot. So apologize about the quality, but we'll get through this. But anyways, yeah, man, let's just dive into this. I want to show you each of these different things, like the different food, the different pools, the theater. There's a lot of different little things that I want to touch on with you guys. Then we'll do a pros and cons list. Talk a little bit about price, at least as far as right now, what's valid. And then, yeah, hopefully this does help you out, like I said, if you're thinking of taking a vacation out here anytime soon. So let's dive into it. Alright, so we just got back from the honeymoon. I want to make sure I could experience everything for you and get good shots of everything. So as I'm talking about it, I can show you what I'm talking about. So there's a lot to cover in this video. I want to try and keep things kind of concise so I don't give you this gigantic long video. But yeah, let's just dive into it. There are a few points I want to hit on. So first up, let's talk about the swimming pool. So there are 5 swimming pools in total, and it's kind of like mirrored. There's kind of 2 halves of this place. So on the first half, you get a little pool with a bar. The next pool is just kind of a big open pool. Next pool has a volleyball net. Okay, so that's one half. The other half, we've got a big pool and the little pool, the one with the bar. That's kind of all joined into one pool. And then there's also a volleyball net pool on the other side. So 5 total pools. The pools are very nice. They're kept very well. So they're always clean. There are a decent amount of people in them, but you never feel crowded, You always feel like there's people around you, but you never feel like you can't move around or something. So that's nice. There's also some really shallow parts. I should say the whole thing is shallow, probably 4 feet or so. So it never gets deep, but there is a very shallow portion, probably like, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches or so of water. But it's really nice, you can lay out there and tan or whatever. So that's a nice addition to these pools. The walk up or the swim up bars are really nice. There's only one bartender at each one though. We'll talk about the bars here in a sec, but just kind of keep that in mind. So one thing I forgot to mention about the pools is they do a lot of activities, and it's really cool. They have kind of a set group of people who just hang out by the pools all day long, and they provide these activities for you. So they do water aerobics and water Zumba, and then they do like water polo. And they do like a dance contest. And they teach you how to do the Mexican dance, and they they bring you up onto the area, and they do like a beer chugging contest, like staff versus guests, and they did archery one day. They do all sorts of stuff, and it was really cool because first of all, it gets you involved and kind of doing something, so you're not just laying there the whole time, but also because the day they taught you how to do the Mexican dance, it was cool because that night they had a beach party. They had a whole Mexican band come, and you got to do the Mexican dance, out on the beach, and it was just a lot of fun. And I think that added a lot of value to just having the pools there. So that was really nice. Yeah, the pools are great. I will say the water is really warm though, so it's not so warm that it's not refreshing, but it's not necessarily cold either. So when you're out and you're real hot, it might not be as refreshing as you want, but it's enough to cool you down, and it's something you can hang out in all day. And yeah, I liked it because I don't like cold water, but Trisha was a little she wished it was a little colder. That's kind of how all the water is there. So you're right on the beach as well. So the ocean is relatively warm. There's a ton of salt, and you get a lot of rocks. They do keep it very nice. I mean, when the seaweed or whatever water all washes into the shore. They clean that up really nice. They break up any big rocks. So they keep things very nice. That's the pools for you. Next up, let's talk about the bars. So I don't even know how many bars there are. There are a bunch. But like there's the swim up bars. There's a bar in each restaurant, and then there's a couple just kind of standalone bars. There's like a sports bar and just kind of one just lounge bar. So there's a lot of bars, and that was really nice. It was really cool. The alcohol is, it's like Mexican alcohol, right? You have to pay a little bit extra for kind of the well-known brands, I guess. But it wasn't a big deal. This liquor wasn't bad. The drinks were good and they were well made. The issue with them is they're always warm. Just because it's so humid and hot there, you never get a cold drink. Even when you get like a blended margarita, it just never quite feels refreshing. But it's cool, it's all inclusive, it's all included, you know, it's free, you don't have to tip them. It says your tips are all included, but I will tell you, like on the swim up bars, if you tip them even like $1 or $2, they will always prioritize you. If you don't tip them, you just kind of get in the order that they see you. You know, it could be 1 minute, it could be 15 minutes before you get served. If you tip them a couple bucks, like for the whole day, they will prioritize you. They'll pick you out of a crowd. Now the restaurants, so there is, let's see, there's 3 kind of all-you-can-eat buffets. There's one big Caribbean buffet. That's kind of the main one. Really, really pretty good food. I was impressed with it. Another buffet, which was kind of like more of a Mexican restaurant, and it was decent. I think we only went there once, you know. And then there was another one, which is kind of like an American snack bar. So it had pizza and hot dogs and chicken nuggets. But by far, I think the Caribbean restaurant was the best one in terms of the buffets. Now, for the actual restaurants, there's 5 total restaurants. I forgot to tell you, there's also a kind of a dessert. It's not necessarily a buffet, but it is all free. So those are all free. Now, there are 5 restaurants, and when you show up, you get a ticket to go to each one of them once. So you get a total of 4 dinners, and then if you upgrade, you also get a different one. But again, we'll talk about that in a minute. Whew, there's a lot to talk about. So, okay, so in these restaurants, they're all different themes. So you have a Japanese one, an American one, Mexican, an Italian, and a Spanish. So those are the kind of the themes, and they're great food. They're very high quality. And so you get all 4 of them except the Spanish one with just kind of any normal room. The Japanese one was great, kind of like a Benihana's. American one was, we weren't impressed, but you know, they're supposed to have pretty good burgers and stuff like that. The Italian one was very fancy. It was good, but it just kind of wasn't our taste. Our favorite was probably the Mexican restaurant, though. Like, the food was just, it was awesome, and it was, granted, it was one we were kind of going into with lower expectations because we're not big fans of Mexican food, but man, it blew us away. It was seriously excellent food. But yeah, they were all excellent quality food. You get really good service. They're all like 3 courses, so I have nothing but good things to say about the restaurants. So let's talk about their rooms. There are a few different kind of levels of rooms. Their base room is like their garden view room, and that's where we started out with. It was nothing special. It was kind of like a Super 8 motel room or something. I mean, we were not stoked on it as it was our honeymoon and stuff like that. But it gets the job done. The one thing I will say about it is the thermostat is set to 22 degrees Celsius in there, which I believe is like around 70 degrees Fahrenheit or so. And that was really cold for us. We were freezing the whole time, and you don't have any control over it. So that was kind of a bummer. But everything else, I mean, it was fine. But it was our honeymoon. We wanted something a little bit, you know, better, I guess. So they have different levels. You can upgrade. They have a privileged room and then the honeymoon suite. So the privileged room and the honeymoon suite are the same kind of room. Honeymoon has a couple more decorations and stuff like that, but it's basically the same room. And it is a lot nicer. You know, you get a lot nicer furniture. The bed is a lot nicer. It's just... and the bathroom is way better. So it was a worthy upgrade for us. I think it was like $40 a night or something like that to upgrade. And they had to do a minimum of $40 a person, I should say. And they had to do a minimum of 4 nights. So we paid $320 total for the last 4 nights to upgrade, but it was definitely well worth it. Along with the honeymoon upgrade that we got you know, a bottle of wine, like a fruit tray. We got a couple photo shoot thing. You get unlimited room service, which was awesome, except our phone was broken in the room, so that was lame. But another thing you get with the honeymoon suite that you also get with the privileged room and stuff like that is You get access to a specific bar, a special bar out on the beach in a special part of the beach. It's called like the privileged area. So you get your own bar, which is great because then you're like one-on-one with the bartender. So you never have to wait. You get your own kind of seats and stuff like that. So it is really nice, and honestly, it was well worth the upgrade, at least for us. Like as the honeymoon, you kind of want to treat yourselves, and that was definitely well worth it. So if you're looking to kind of spoil yourselves, I would absolutely recommend going with the privileged or the honeymoon style suite. Otherwise, the garden view room is fine. I mean, it totally gets the job done. It's just maybe not quite as luxurious. All right, so that kind of covers all of the points I wanted to talk about. So let's quickly cover some pros and some cons. We'll start off with cons. We'll start off with the bad. So the only real big complaint, I don't even know if it's a complaint, but the only big thing that we didn't like about it is just how humid it was, man. It was so humid. And granted, it was August in Mexico. What do you really expect? But it was so humid that it wasn't necessarily the heat that bothered us. It was more just that, everything was just warm. Like there was no such thing as a cold drink, like I said. And it was just, I don't know. It wasn't great, but that's something you kind of got to deal with, like I said, when you're going to Mexico in August. Other cons, honestly, there really wasn't any. Trisha's had one kind of slight con, and that was that she didn't speak Spanish. I speak a decent amount of Spanish, and that helped a ton because, like, the front desk people and the concierge and everything, they speak decent English, but as soon as you get talking to the bartenders and the waiters and stuff like that, they speak a little bit of English, but their first inclination is always speaking Spanish. So it helped out a ton knowing Spanish so that, you can kind of bridge the gaps there. And Trisha said it would have been a lot more intimidating had I not been around. But that's really it for cons. So let's talk about some pros. First up, I want to just comment on how well the workers did. Like everywhere you went, there was no worker that was ever standing around. They're always working. They're always repainting something, cleaning something, raking something, wiping something down, helping you however they could. Were honestly very, very helpful, and they kept that place just crazy clean. Like we were super impressed with how well they kept everything there. So that's a big pro. Another pro is it was cool having the swim up bars. We loved that. Probably the biggest pro for us, and one of the biggest reasons we chose to come to this resort in particular, is because it was all inclusive. It was really nice to be able just to go to the buffet all day, to have a nice dinner at night, to get drinks all day, just whatever it was. It was really nice to know that you didn't have to shell out of pocket for it all. So it's really hard to say too many more pros because kind of everything was a pro for us. Like I said, there was only those two minor cons. Everything else we were really happy with. And we were specifically really happy with how much we paid and how much value you get out of it. So that's our segue into talking about price. And I don't really want to talk too much about price because it's going to vary so much depending on when you see this video and where you're watching it from and stuff like that. But just kind of tell you some of our experience. What I saw online, the garden room, I think they were about $200 a night. The privilege and the honeymoon got up to $250, $300 a night. Now, that's not really that much when you think about everything you get with it. Like I said, it's all inclusive. So you're getting your food, you're getting your dinners, you're getting the activities, there's a theater you get to go to, there's just all sorts of stuff. And so it's really not that, I don't think it's a bad deal at all. Now, you have to factor in flight and travel and stuff like that. Like I said, it's about an hour drive or so from the airport to the hotel. So we went through a travel agent, and it's just kind of a local travel agent. They had a deal, and it's kind of one of those things where you have to book between this date and this date, but they provide everything for you. So we got a round-trip flight, we got round-trip travel, like transportation, and then we also got 7 nights there, and we only paid $1,900-ish total for both of us. And I did the math. It came out to be like $3,300 normally if we wouldn't have done it that way. So we saved a ton. Well, I guess actually that's including our upgrade. So I think it was like $23 and $33. So we saved like $1,000 going through the travel agent. And granted, we were kind of constricted to their dates, but if you can find the right dates, that's really the way to go. We saved a lot of money, and the value for what we got was fantastic. So we were very happy with that. Overall, Hotel Catalonia was awesome. We were very, very pleased with everything. I do want to add in, a lot of people tell you don't drink the Mexican water, and then they'll tell you that straight up. Don't drink straight out of the faucet or anything like that. But when you go to the restaurants, they always provide filtered water. The ice is all from filtered water, stuff like that. So you're fine. I drank water the entire time I was there, and me or Tricia never got sick or anything like that. So keep that in mind, though they do provide bottled water and stuff like that in your rooms. Sorry for that little side tangent. I just thought you guys should know that. But anyways, Hotel Catalonia was a blast. We were very, very happy with the entire experience, and we would absolutely recommend it. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it probably a 7. You know, it wasn't like top of the world greatest vacation ever, but for the price that we paid, and I don't know, for the honeymoon kind of thing, we were very, very happy with it. Yeah, it was fantastic. We were very, very stoked for what we got for our money. So 7 out of 10, maybe even an 8 out of 10. So it was great. So I hope this really does help you out if you guys are considering a vacation to near Cancun or anything in the future. Check that out. There are a lot of excursions you can go on so you can leave the place. The excursions are between probably like 100 and 200 per person, so keep that in mind. I didn't want to do reviews on those because there's so many of them, and you know that can just go on forever. But do keep in mind that there are a lot of excursions you can go on. I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you've been here, if you've been anywhere else near Cancun, please leave that and your experience below so everyone else in the community can kind of learn from your comments. So thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next video for Greenlight Life. Please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.